Who do you send your information to? I mean, just think about your business and who are you reaching out to?
There's marketing efforts, there's sales efforts, there's customer service efforts. All of those customer emotions and data all live within the CRM.
For you to be a successful thought leader, you need to be somebody who is thought of when people think about your subject.
At Growth, we strive to do great business with companies who do great business.
And once again, welcome and everybody. Thank you guys for joining us. Really excited to have you guys here.
So
I never get tired of that thing. Yeah.
I've lost about 10 pounds of facial hair and body weight.
We need to re-record for sure. But
Yeah,
it's fun. We're alive. Thank you everybody that's starting to join in. Welcome in. Chris, you can start sharing your screen as we're about to get started. And like I said, welcome everybody. As always, I'm your host, Rick Barcelos, the community manager here at Growth. Thank you for joining another micro lesson. This is going to be a really, really fun one. Joining me, I have our CEO, Chris. Chris, this is all yours, man. Take it from here.
Well, thank you very much. I mean, I think we all know why we're here and why we're watching this presentation. I really wanted to take a chance to talk to some of my favorite customers, those old school companies, those manufacturers, those businesses that have been around for 10, 20, 30, 50, 100 years, still trying to figure out how to leverage software. So really wanting to lead into leveraging software for those growth purposes. Today, you should learn all about mindset, how to think of software as a tool. We want to talk about choosing the right software, breaking down by operational department, the type of software you should already have or should be looking to implement, a brief bit about the power of centralizing this data, and then for those of you that are wanting to know and are excited about implementing new tools, how you actually get that done. Quick about me, I am Christopher Nault, or Chris from Growth. I'm the founder and CEO of Growth. I've been leading sales and marketing teams for the past 20 years. I have a real superpower for company transformation. I've kicked a lot of organizations in the pants and have helped them get over this technological issue. Really active on LinkedIn, really try to help. I do have a day-to-day at a company, but talking to me doesn't mean that you're going to get sold to. So if you're finding any sort of friction, even a therapy session around trying to get your boss or company to move forward with something, I really insist. Please reach out. I want to kick things off briefly about why software really matters. So I think it's pretty obvious to say that there's a rapid pace of technological advancement and just how big of an impact this technology is having with companies. For those of us that haven't moved the needle or started to implement tools like HubSpot or Salesforce, our competitors are. And we're feeling that creep and that pressure in the way that our salespeople are doing business, maybe how our customer service teams are experiencing conversations with our customers. Kind of to highlight the risk of what happens with falling behind. I think one of the most common things we hear when we're dealing with some of these businesses is, hey, my competitor, all of a sudden they're everywhere and you can't find us. And customers we've had for 20 or 30 years that have been shaking hand with Jim, who's come across and sold them their XYZ dongle parts. Now they're going to a company we've never even heard of. We've been doing this forever. How's that happening? I really want to emphasize a tech-forward mindset to not only stay competitive and relevant, but also to have happier employees. Because it's really crazy how in today's day and age, not having these great tools can actually be costing you really fantastic employees. Briefly want to touch on the importance of the overview of growth operations, and that's the ownership of your flywheel. Essentially owning the marketing, sales, customer service, revenue, and website operations as a whole. Pretty much impossible to do without some sort of software infrastructure. But when you are able to have these silos work together, leadership is empowered to embrace and impact change. But why does software matter in growth? operations. So first, just like a quick data point, 87% of companies believe digital transformation provides a competitive advantage in their market. And 64% of leading companies are investing currently in advanced technologies to enhance customer experience and engagement. These things are very obviously important in driving profitability and streamlining operations. Embracing technology is a big component, requires a growth mindset. You're going to be setting up a tool, and it is so easy to get hung up on the nuances of perfection. Hopefully part of this lesson today really tells you, like, let's get a foundation, let's get a MVP product in place, and then over time we can iterate and improve upon it. I would say that might be the largest barrier to entry I've seen for companies that have resisted moving into a more software heavy universe. Of course, choosing the right software matters. The importance of aligning your software choices with your business goals can't be understated. Sure, there's a lot of really expensive tools. There's even more inexpensive tools, but choosing any tool and it being the wrong tool can really impact morale and maybe even the chance of, if you didn't get it right the first time, maybe even having a swing at the bat for a second time. When you're choosing the right software, I think the biggest lesson I've learned over the years is not only finding a tool that is equipped for what you need today, but also looking at, is this tool designed to be flexible and scalable as we grow? A lot of times when I say grow, companies are thinking revenue, but grow could also mean growing in team size or evolving in team size. And for scalability, again, it doesn't necessarily mean new lines of business or acquiring new companies. A lot of software implementation can mean changing the way that you're doing things now to a more efficient process. And so with that change, is the software that you're invested in going to give you the flexibility to allow you to have that impact? Growth operations, the combination of sales, marketing, customer service, website, and your revenue operations. You need software, unfortunately, for all of them. Competitively, I would say that the majority of companies we deal with work in one or two universes, the beautiful and bold orange universe of HubSpot, and the less bold but very much there blue world of Salesforce. In sales operations, I just want to highlight some of the important functions that you should be considering if you aren't already using this. Your sales team and management should have oversight with prospecting, contact engagement, obviously reporting, and outreach automation. If your sales team right now, and I know Rick's hosting this one, we've worked together on a few old logistics companies together where teams just simply still don't have these tools. Baseline, must have. HubSpot first, Salesforce second. Marketing operations. And today, your marketing team, your agency should be able to leverage a software stack that allows them to create campaigns, engage with leads, create their content, and distribute their content all within one set of tools. With service operations, we need to streamline communication. We need to be able to give the customers access to help quickly, but also as a departmental oversight, need to understand who are the service team members that are moving quickly, what is the average ticket time, and then how are we tracking overall user sentiment? Super exciting conversation, but insanely important. Website operations is a fairly new term. I really believe in it because the need and the function for a website in 2024 and beyond has changed. So many companies are still relying on their 10 or 15-year-old company website built on WordPress that is a potentially beautiful brochure. Right now, there's very capable, very affordable software that can allow you to reuse this website and rebuild it in a way that enables sales teams by maybe letting them know when prospective clients are visiting certain pages on the website, can empower marketing teams by driving certain types of people through certain pages and then seeing what's landing and what's not. And then for service teams, providing a safe place for customers to go and either self-service or at least find resources. So if your website isn't doing those things, strongly consider maybe some of the new software tools, maybe HubSpot Content Hub. And then lastly, revenue operations. Boiled down, revenue operations is all about defining those variables within each of these operational sections that we can act as levers, increasing and decreasing based off of the feedback that we're getting. These are the levers that we want to use to make decisions that will effectively improve how we operate. Deloitte shared a stat. Companies that are using collaborative tools see a 15 to 25% increase in employee productivity. And I can tell you at Growth, our tech stack is insane. But now employees, when they're working with other companies that don't have the tech stack, there's almost like a communication barrier because of the ability to execute at a high level and move together as a team, much like the USA women's rugby team. At the Olympics, just being able to move quickly and lay those hits down as if they've been practicing together for years. Another really important thing, this is from a Gallup poll, employee satisfaction improved by 30% when using intuitive and effective software solutions. So really important employee ROI. I want to talk about my tech stack dream team, my Olympic team, if you will. So I'm a huge fan of what Google Workspace has done to evolve in the mid-market enterprise section. Also, very valid shout out to the Microsoft suite. Aerospace, maybe a few government, I think maybe on a secure level, maybe slightly, I don't want to say better, but just different. But outside of that, scalability and function for team sizes of hundreds and thousands, I still would put my vote on Google Workspace. It's important that whatever cinematic universe you want to curate with your software, they all need to work together. So one of the things that I have found really empowering is how Google Workspace and its communication flows so seamlessly into our HubSpot CRM, which also is the software stack that we use for sales using Sales Hub. So we talked briefly about creating deals, tracking content, engaging and automating outreach. That all happens inside of HubSpot. Marketing teams are creating content and campaigns and distributing this content within the HubSpot account. And our service team is working with our customers, tracking tickets and viewing ticket times and making improvements there as well. From a must-have tech stack in 2024, LinkedIn Sales Navigator, I would be remiss to not bring up the all-powerful Apollo.io, the superpower here again for sales, which is probably why many of us listen to me talk, is how we improve those sales teams. So Apollo.io will let you track down the companies and the people at those companies that you want to sell to and give you the fighting chance to say hello and introduce yourself. I'm still surprised by how often I come across companies that aren't using Slack or Microsoft Teams, essentially a communication tool to help teams communicate effectively, whether in office or remote, or like Growth, a combination of both. This flywheel that I have showing, I mean, of course, it's lovely because it has the Growth name in the middle, but this is the mindset that I think is missing from a lot of companies that are finding friction and tracking why software costs money. I want you to have the power to identify people that you don't know yet, but you know are a potential fit for you, i.e. strangers, to turn them into prospects and then customers and then your promoters or champions. And so you simply just can't do that at any level of scale without a software infrastructure. So you listen to this, you're like, oh my God, Chris, you're so right. I'm so ready to move to a really cool software tool. But I have no idea what to expect because we're still using Excel spreadsheets to track our sales conversations. And our customer service is really just Jan, who's been working here for 30 years, tracking emails and hoping that at least 70% of the customer service issues are handled relatively quickly. No problem. Obviously, the first part is identifying the software, purchasing the software, and then after the purchase, you have to worry about 4 major areas. When you purchase a new software, it needs to be onboarded. So that's a step of migrating data, customizing it for your own company's unique use, implementing it, building upon that foundation, getting your team into the system and using it. You're going to need a depository for training, obviously, right? So your team needs to use the tool. Management needs to learn how to manage around the tool, reporting up, and then, of course, providing positive feedback as adoption occurs. The biggest piece, again, so many companies are afraid to adopt new practices because of Bob, the sales guy that's been there for 30 years. But part of Bob's fear is his fear of failing and not wanting to use something new because somebody somewhere sometime said it didn't work. So we want to support Bob, get him trained up, have him supported, and then have him understand, him or her or them, understand that we're going to be iterating as we use the tool. So if in their first few weeks of usage, they're trying to create a quote to send to a customer and a feature or a function is missing, there needs not be any reason to panic. They can simply go through an action to let the team know that there's additional functionality needed. And I can't share this enough. It is proven that you will do more faster and better through iteration than trying to craft any sort of perfection view. You're here, you're working at a company. I assume there's some sort of barrier for you to adopt some sort of tool. So I want to help you be the force for good to help you implement this within your company. Here's how you do it, folks. Whether you're the CEO and you're pitching to the board, or you're a marketing manager and they've never, ever had a CRM and you're trying to tell them you need it. Start by identifying the problem or problems that need to be solved. Keep it simple. Make it very relatable. Clearly and concisely demonstrate how that problem can be solved using the tool at a high level. So you do not need a demo of the software tool. What is the problem and how does this tool solve it? Do a little research. Find a few examples where this problem has been solved with this software. I'll make it very easy. If it's anything to do with growth operations, aka anything related to sales, marketing, customer service, just Google it. And a 78% chance you're going to get a helpful article from HubSpot because they've done a killer job of making sure the information is available. In this universe of software, there is a secondary universe of partners like Growth that have full businesses designed with you in mind. We know it's hard to champion new software at any level. We know that you may not be trained to train. So companies like ours work with you to set up and implement these new software tools in the way that you need it, provide the training, provide the documentation. And if you get really good, aka you pick us, we can work with you on a long-term plan to iterate and continue to build a better tool and increase that ROI. Businesses that leverage data-driven decision-making are 23 times more likely to acquire customers. That's from the Harvard Business Review. 23 times. There's so often people come into my micro lessons or find growth because they're experiencing a growing pain. Data-driven decision-making fixes growing pains. It starts with the foundation. It takes time to get the data to make a data-driven decision. But I'm telling you, whether you're on day 1 or day 10,000, keep leaning into this. 78% of enterprises believe data and analytics have the potential to fundamentally change the way they do business over the next 3 years. 3 years goes by real fast. So I really do want to be available to help you make the change sooner than later. We kind of moved pretty quick there, but I hope we understood why software is so important at a high level. I'm happy to dig into the nuance with any software stack for any company. Baseline software needs by department. What are the things that you need to have? I shared my picks for my favorite software. I don't get paid to say it. I've just used a lot, and these are the best, and they continue to be the best. And then I walked you through some steps to get these new tools up and running. And that's it. I hope you are more empowered to leverage these tools for your company. I know it can be different. I've grown my business from millions of dollars by making these changes, and you should too. That's it. Thanks, Rick.